Welcome back, fighter pilots. I'm David, that's Wesley, and you just tuned in to X-Wing Radio, your bi-weekly podcast where we talk about everything Star Wars. And today, we have a very full show for y'all.
That is right. We got Star Wars news. We got quiz questions. So nerd out with us with those. And then finally, we will be getting to the main topic of the episode, which is Rebels Season 3. That is what we have going on today. So stick around and be sure to tune into that.
That's right. Sit back and enjoy the chaos that is X-Wing Radio.
You are listening to X-Wing Radio.
So, Wesley,
So David,
what's new with Star Wars?
actually, there is some new stuff with Star Wars. Nothing, I'm not sure. So David, how do you feel about this new announced Starfighter movie?
You talking about the Top Gun in the Star Wars universe?
Basically, yeah. Although okay, David, full confession time right here, and you can shame me. I really don't care. Um, I haven't seen Top Gun, but
Honestly, that's fair.
I've heard that you can vaguely tell, say, the plot of Top Gun, and you can match it to, or it might be the new Top Gun. That might be what it is, and you can correct me if
It's
I'm wrong.
yeah,
But it's very
Top Gun
close to A
Maverick.
New Hope.
Top Gun Maverick, the new one, is New Hope. Yeah.
Okay. So it's the new one. It's not the old one. Okay, I wasn't sure. I know I'd heard the parallels, but anyways, but yes, this new what is probably going to end up being a Star Wars Top Gun, for lack of a better word. I mean, I guess since they copied Star Wars, now Star Wars has to copy them. Um, but you know, but yeah, what are your thoughts on it? I mean, do you care? I mean, where are you at with Star Wars right now? Because like I know you and I both obviously love Star Wars. That's why we do this. But I don't know, like, where are you at with anything new in Star Wars? Do you care? Do you want to see it? I mean, I guess you'd probably give it a try because we probably would need to talk about it on here. But like, do you really care to watch any new Star Wars? Is it something that you have any?
I'm going to. I mean, I think both of us are probably going to watch it because obviously we need to talk about new Star Wars stuff. But
Outside of this, would you watch it?
probably still, but I really am not like I really don't have much of an interest to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
okay, and this might be something that the comments will eat me alive on. I don't know. That seems to happen a lot, but
They
the
do tend to
premise
target you.
the premise sounds boring.
I don't even know if I know what the premise is offhand.
No,
Do
I'm just
you
talking. I'm
know?
just talking about just like a Star Wars fighter movie. It
Yeah.
sounds kind of boring.
Eh, It's a thing where Star Wars has this in it, but you don't really need to tell a story about it. Like I don't know why
Okay,
you would need
okay.
to.
A perfect example of this. Compare Star Wars Battlefront 2 from 2017, so the EA Dice Battlefront 2. Compare that game to Star Wars Squadrons.
Hmm.
Came out similar time. I think, okay, granted, I think they put a lot more money into Battlefront 2. However, Battlefront 2 still has a player base, even now. Star Wars Squadrons? I don't know how many people even remember that game.
Hmm.
And I will say that there was a niche group of people who love that game. But
Yeah.
I don't know necessarily, like, it's a similar thing of, like, I don't know necessarily how big of an audience there actually is that wants to see this. Because, like you said, we've already got bits of this. Like, you just mentioned A New Hope. A New Hope is basically a fighter movie.
Um,
Because,
quick tease to later on in the video. In Rebels season 3, we get to meet Wedge Antilles at a much earlier
yeah,
date than any time later. But here's the thing: as much as I love seeing his character, and they had an episode that was not necessarily dedicated to him, but he was a more of a main focal point in it. Maybe a couple episodes like that. I don't need a movie about him or a character like him. You also think in the original Thrawn trilogy, right? Wedge Antilles was a pretty prominent character for portions of that book, for those books. But I don't need a book dedicated or a movie dedicated to his story, you know?
yeah, it's not. I mean, nothing
And
against the character.
that's
Like,
kind of what this is.
Wedge,
That's kind of what this is.
yeah. Like, Wedge is a great character, but
He's a
I don't know.
side character. He's a background character. That's how
Yeah,
his character was
Star
made,
Wars.
and this is what this character probably is and should be, but is going to be end up being in the forefront. It's kind of like making a movie about Poe Dameron. Poe Dameron is definitely more of a main. I mean, obviously, he's one of the main three characters, but he's also a starfighter pilot. But I don't necessarily need a movie dedicated strictly to Poe Dameron. What's he gonna do? What's the climax gonna be? What's gonna happen? I mean, especially in this Starfighter movie, right? This is supposed to take place after the sequels. So
Mhm.
what's going on now? Is this okay? When is this movie set to come out? What's gonna come out before it?
Isn't like Mandalorian or Grogu supposed to come out before that?
That's supposed to have been
And
coming out for the past like 5 years, I feel like.
true, true. But and Ahsoka season 2 is supposed to come out before then, I think.
Yes, yes, that's true.
But okay,
But I'm just curious, like, what's the plot gonna be? Who's the main threat gonna be? And is it really just gonna be about this one character, or are we gonna see like characters from the sequels? Like,
okay.
what are we
So
gonna get here?
here's the thing. Like I said earlier, A New Hope. The plot of A New Hope would have, if they wanted to do this, that makes the perfect fighter pilot movie, or like fighter movie.
Yeah,
That climax. However, they can't do another Death Star. That's not gonna,
no, no,
So like,
you can't do that.
what is the and no matter what they do, if they do some kind of like, oh, big weapon of mass destruction that they have to take care of, it's just gonna be another Death Star.
Yeah, at this point in Star
Like,
Wars, you can't do that without making it another Death Star. I mean, heck, the Star Wars original trilogy couldn't figure out what to do besides another Death Star. Like, and
yeah,
we love that. But George Lucas himself couldn't figure out something else besides doing another bigger Death Star, you know? And so it's like, you can't really necessarily get on them about doing it, but it's like we've seen this before. It's been done before. I mean, here's the thing. You could, and I wouldn't be opposed to this. I don't think they would because they can't have original ideas, but you could make something similar to what's that Clone Wars episode where Grievous has the ship? What's the name of that ship? The Malevolence?
oh
No.
yeah, the Malevolence.
It
Yeah.
is Malevolence. Think a ship like that. A ship that has catastrophic, potential, but it's a regular Star Destroyer. Think even in the Thrawn trilogy, I believe it is, where they have those like gravity well ships. That could
Oh,
also be a
the
huge thing.
interdictor cruisers. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we
Which
also
we.
see that again in Rebels season 3. Yes.
Yep.
Looking forward to that in a little bit here. But it's a thing like it's one of those things where I don't know what you would do, what the battle would be, and then if you figure that out, who is the enemy? Are you fighting more remnants of the Empire slash First Order? Like we've seen that too. So who's your enemy? Are we gonna set up the Yuzon Vong for the new Thrawn movies that are supposed to be coming up? That'd be cool, but I don't want to see them in this. I want them introduced in the Thrawn trilogy movies. You know?
Mhm.
If you have a trilogy, you can bring in and kill off characters in that time frame. You don't need to bring them in ahead of time. David, quick sidetrack because I brought this up for a reason. I didn't just randomly bring this up because it is a bit of Star Wars news and the fact that it is a new movie supposed to be in production. The reason I brought it up is because they have announced a cast list. Now, this would just be the main characters, I would assume. More main characters. But Ryan Gosling obviously is who it's supposed to be starring. That's the character or that was announced a long time ago. We got Flynn Gray. We have Matt Smith. We have Mia Goth. We have Aaron Peer. Is it Peer? Simon Bird, Jamal Westman, Daniel Ings, and Amy Adams.
Hmm.
And that is supposed to be the cast list. I am not great with names, so don't say anything. Not that you would, David, but anyone watching this, don't crucify me for saying a name wrong. I I don't do this for a living, so I don't have the time to look people's names up. But anyways, yeah. So that's the cast list. Thoughts?
Um, I mean, it's interesting we're getting the Doctor.
Yeah, so I mainly wanted to talk to you about that. That was the thing that stood out to me the most. But do you have any thoughts on the rest of the cast? I know the only other name that stuck out to me there was Amy Adams, which apparently
Same.
she's supposed to be playing a mother. Let me see if I can find it. She'll be playing the mother of the young actor uh Flynn Gray's character. So whatever that means, she'll just be that and that character. And I don't know what that ends up being. Maybe it's a flashback. Maybe it's supposed to be Ryan Gosling's character as a child. Maybe it's something in the present. Who knows? Who cares? Anyways, yeah. So outside of that, I would say the biggest name that I notice on there is Matt Smith. Now, no surprise to any Star Wars fans, who keep somewhat of an ear to the ground when it comes to Star Wars news. Matt Smith was supposed to already be in Star Wars, wasn't he, David? Oh, you're failing me, David. You're failing me.
I'm blanking on what you're getting at.
Okay, so David, you remember the tease, not the tease, you know, the complete plot drop that a trailer of the last no, The Rise of Skywalker had, where it's oh, Palpatine's back. Originally, it was supposed to be
Oh, right,
a young clone
right.
of
And he played by Matt Smith.
Palpatine,
That's right.
played by Matt Smith. And
That's right.
so Matt Smith was supposed to be originally, the original concept was for him to play a young Palpatine, which I would love still for them to make a young Palpatine movie. You could even tie it in making it a Plagueis movie. I wouldn't care how you titled it, as long as we got a somewhat some kind of a story, even summarizing somewhat of the Plagueis novel, which again we've talked about this before. I think that's probably one of my favorite books. But it's such a great story. We get to see that. I know we don't have to go in depth in everything uh Star Wars related when it comes to movies. But that being said, I would love to see Matt Smith play Palpatine, a young Palpatine. I think he would do a great job with it. And now I don't think we're going to get that because what is he going to be doing in this movie?
Honestly, it's funny you bring that up again because my first thought when you mentioned Matt Smith was going to be in it was I wonder if he's going to play the villain because he actually does play a pretty good villain.
Oh, he plays an amazing. He was the only good thing about Morbius. Morbius was an awful movie, and I hated the fact that it was an awful movie because I love Matt Smith so much. There's actually a new movie that's either coming out or going to be coming, or already has come out, or is going to be coming out. I forget what the name of it is. I've seen a lot of things for it, but he's in it. Matt Smith is. He has a freaking mohawk. I don't know if you've seen the ads for it. I have to figure out what the name of the movie is. Um, but it's one that me and Sarah went to some movie to see. And uh, and we were like, oh yeah, we're gonna have to watch that now. Let's see. Oh, Caught Stealing is the name of the movie. Caught Stealing.
Yeah.
He's not necessarily the bad guy in it, but he's not a great guy in it either. But yeah, like I love Matt Smith. He's a great actor. He does a great job. I really wish Morbius was better because he played a great villain in that. I'm pretty sure he plays a villain, doesn't he, in Game of Thrones? I don't watch Game of Thrones. Nobody attack me. But I know he's in it in some House of Dragon or something like that. That's a different
Oh yeah,
spin-off
yeah,
show of it. But anyways,
yeah.
I don't know what I know he's apparently I think good in there. Maybe he's not. He's a good actor, so I don't know if the role is good. He is good. But
So it's funny you mentioned that, like, that nobody attacked me. This is kind of a side tangent, so my apologies. But I sent you a meme on Instagram earlier today. I don't know if you saw it, but it was like,
nope.
or it was a reel on Instagram. But it was a girl talking about like how you know it doesn't matter what it is when it comes to the Star Wars fan base. Every opinion you have is a controversial opinion.
That's
There's
fair.
no safe opinions. Every opinion you have is controversial.
We should make an episode. We should have a whole entire podcast dedicated to uh strong opinions that you or I have. Now, I don't know how many we could actually get into an episode because I feel like if we get on it, we're gonna end up talking about it for a minute. But that would actually be interesting. Then we can like have people all over the place, disagree with us if we can get a video to have any traction. But, that's neither here nor there. Um, Back onto the main topic though. What are your thoughts on, I mean, what do you think? Like, are you happy that Matt Smith is finally coming to the Marvel universe, or not the Marvel universe? He's already been in
Oh no.
to at least one side of it. It doesn't matter if it's the Disney or Sony version. But don't shush me, David. Um, but what are your thoughts on it? Do you like it? Do you care? I am disappointed because this means now that he's not going to be playing Palpatine. If he still ends up playing Palpatine, I will be even more disappointed because I don't want to see Palpatine at this point in time.
That's fair.
I don't even care if it's a clone. I do not want to see him.
Yeah. Um. So here's the thing about, like, again, it might be a good movie. It might surprise me. I'm still not really excited for it at all.
Mm-hmm.
It like, I don't know. Maybe when they release a trailer, it'll be like, oh, actually, I am really excited now. But
I should get an idea of what the plot is. Yeah.
yeah, but as of right now, just the basic premise of it, just like, oh, it's a fighter pilot movie set in the Star Wars universe. Okay. Um.
If you were going to do that, make one about Han. But you already made a movie about Han, and you didn't necessarily do that. So, not that Han. Hey, have we talked about this? How Han's not actually a good pilot?
So, you know, thought about it, and you know what they need to do?
I don't.
So, okay. Ewan is the perfect age now to do this. So, actually go and do a, like, literal shot for shot remake. Like, don't change anything. Just do a shot for shot remake of
That's
A
gonna be
New
hard.
Hope with the um actors from the prequels. So have Ewan actually playing Old Ben, have Hayden Christensen in the Vader suit, track down the actual babies they used as Luke and Leia, and have them play.
You would have outrage.
I know. I just thought of that, but yes, yes, you
David
would.
wants chaos. David wants anarchy. Um, no structure, no order. He just wants chaos. Oh, David. The funny thing about this is,
I kind of want you to clip that and make a short out of it just to see how much rage we get.
oh, I'll do it. I'll do it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that is definitely gonna get something. I would love if we got more hot takes, like we did something more like that on the podcast. Because when you clip those get the traction. Those
Mhm.
get the comments, and when you get comments, you get traction. And yeah, some of the best ones that we have are very opinionated videos that we have there. Um, David, I think it's time to move on, unless you have any Star Wars news that you've been holding out on me with. But to be fair, it's not a whole lot going on that I've seen. Um,
There's not much that
besides
we haven't already
obviously,
talked about.
yeah, I mean we are a bi-weekly podcast, but also there's also not a ton of stuff going on with Star Wars right now. We have maybe some updates here and there with Ahsoka season 2, but we talked about that last time. And we have different other things going on. There's not much going on with the Mandalorian Grogu movie. So we're just kind of at a point where there's not a ton to talk about, but we got a casting list for that. Obviously, that movie is in very, very early development. Who knows if they even have a story? Like David was saying, maybe once we see a trailer, we'll get a little more excited for it. But right now, hey, we got a casting list. Hey, Matt Smith is coming to Star Wars. I'm not happy about it. David's indifferent about it. We'll move it on to our next segment. David, your favorite segment is what is coming up next.
Oh, joy.
Yeah, so all you nerds, calling all the nerds. Test your Star Wars knowledge with this only 5, David. I went down to 5. This 5-question quiz that I'm going to ask David, and we're going to have you in the comments answer along below. No cheating, no skipping ahead. But I got 5 questions, David, and I guarantee you're going to need luck on your side. I took this quiz last night. I answered all the questions because I need to answer them as well. I've got 3 out of 5 right. Okay, so I got over 50%. Can you beat me though? And I think that's a new game we're gonna be playing here. Is you have to beat me. Let me find where my first question is. Let me figure out what my first question is in the first place. But we'll be doing this. David, question while we get into this because it is going to be pertinent. Um, do you or did you watch the new Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy trailer?
I did, yes.
You did. Um, was there anything in that trailer that stood out, or maybe something that happened that you were like, I need to look that up?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I watched this like
Okay.
it's
Well,
been a while since I watched it.
I saw something in the video, and the only reason I mentioned that is because I actually looked up something because I didn't know what it was. Um, do you remember the character Jax or Jackson? I guess is technically his name, Jackson, but he's not really a bunny, but he looks like a bunny.
Yeah,
You remember that character?
yeah.
Was that something that you were familiar with, or
Not really. No,
okay?
no.
Well, then okay, luck better be on your side, David. Question 1. What language do the Lepi speak? I am pronouncing it Lepi, Lepi, whatever. I don't care how it's pronounced. Um, is it A, Lepan, Lepan? Is it B, Lepese, Lepese? Is it C, Lebanese, Lepanese? Or Lepella, Lepella? A L A. Too many letters, too much going on there. But what language do the Lepi speak? And the Lepi, if you haven't caught on, are the bunny creatures. Lepan, Lebanese, or Lepan, Lepese, Lebanese, or Lepella.
So wait,
Shoot it.
so it's Le
Go ahead.
Lepan,
Mm-hmm.
Lepese,
Mm-hmm.
Lebanese, or
Lepella.
what's the last one?
Lepella.
Lepella. Oh gosh. And I can tell you right now, I can already tell this is a George Lucas era.
It is an old comic. It is an
Yeah.
old comic book strip when it first came out. Actually, I do have a little bit of history on this that I will read off once we get through this question.
So, okay. I'm going strictly based off of the fact that Jabba the Hutt's language is Huttese.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either going to be B or C, I think.
Okay.
So it's Lepes or Lebanese.
Okay. I think you're stalling.
I am, in fact, stalling, yes. Do you have a quarter over here? I can just do a coin toss. B, Lepes.
Your final answer is B, Lepes?
Yes.
You are correct.
Wow, okay.
You had a crazy shot in the dark there, David. I had the same logic that you did, and I also guessed Lepes, but I had the same logic as you, where I was like, these two look more so like languages. I didn't go as far as to say it was Hutties, but I had the same similar logic to what you were saying. Now this in the Rebuild the Galaxy trailer, um Jax himself makes the comment. He said, "I'm a real deep cut." Well, he is a real deep cut because the Lepi first appeared in Star Wars 1977 8. So issue 8, I guess, published on February 1978, featuring Jackson as one of the Ab, Ad, Ab, Abduba 8, whatever that, some group. This is the first Marvel comic story arc after the adaptation of Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. So basically, um, this is like one of the first and earliest comics that was made that had this character in it. There's actually a concept art or it's a comic book cover that I saw that had him next to the original Star Wars gang. And so he's an extremely early, extremely deep cut. All right, David. Moving on to our next question. Um, which species have what they call blood professions or professions passed down from one generation to the next? A. Wookiee. B. Ugnaughts. C. Lepi. Or B. Spiners.
S- Before you read the answers, my first instinct was Wookiee. And then,
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the answers. Then you said Ugnut, and that makes me, that could very well be the case.
It could.
So I'm down between, I'm between those two. Um,
Okay.
hmm. Now, does it count that pretty much all Ugnuts do the same thing?
I don't actually know. I'm not a Ugnut.
Hmm.
I'm just a nut.
That's fair. Um, I will go with B again, Ugnaughts.
All right, so you were on a streak of guessing B, but that does not keep you on a streak of winning because you did not get that one right. Um, big old X on the board there. No, David, see, you're a little stupid here because the theme of the episode is Leppy. It's C, Leppy. I can't call you what I want to call you, but you're not the brightest. All right. So, moving on, my
Mhm.
disappointment aside, remember I'm not your father, so my disappointment does not matter as much. All right. Question number 3. What creature anchors itself deep into caverns with tendrils digest and digests the rocks and stones around it? Is it A, Minoc, B, a dragon snake, C, a Duracrate slug, or D, a giant space slug?
So is this the same thing that from Empire in the asteroid field?
Hmm. What do you think?
Um, well, because I think Minox are the little bat things that were flying around in there, weren't they?
I believe so. They sound familiar. I think there's some kind of a bat creature.
Yeah.
I'll
Mm.
help you out with find out this. Yeah, they're bat creatures. You know what a dragon snake is? It's a dragon snake. And a Duracrate slug is something, and then obviously a space giant space slug is a giant space slug. So what do you expect?
Huh.
Now, David, in this book, we are in the Empire Strikes Back era. So do with that information what you will.
So I'm gonna guess that it's the same thing, but I don't know what what that would be called because I could see it being a dragon snake, giant space slug, or what was the other thing? So we'll see.
Duracrate, Duracrate slug. Now, David, because you're apparently you don't know this, I would say yes, you are correct that it is supposed to be the creature in Empire. I'm just surprised that you don't actually know what they're
So
called.
so okay, it doesn't really look like a snake. So I mean, kind
Yeah,
of,
it
but
does.
I'm going to remove because Minox are little bat things flying around in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna remove dragon snake
I don't think you should
from the
remove it.
equation.
It might be. It might be. You might
So
want to
I think
hint, hint,
both
wink, wink.
both C and D sound like they could be a George Lucas thing.
Fair enough.
But you know what? Space Slug sounds like something that George. So it sounds like something George would have just put in the movie, and then someone asked him about it, and like, oh yeah, that's a space slug. So I'm gonna go with that.
Uh, David, you stumbled across success. That's, I guess, I mean, you have to eventually, right? So you've stumbled across success once again, and it is
Wow.
D, a giant space slug. I'm a little disappointed in you that you did not actually know that off of the top of your head, but again, not my place. All right. Question number 4. What have oh, what have aggravated tauntauns been known to do, causing distress in their handlers? to their handlers. Sorry, let me redo that. What have what have aggressive David, can I just die now? Okay. What have aggravated tauntauns been known to do, causing distress to their handlers? Is it A, kick, B, butt, C, spit, or D, bite?
So, it yet again, it's pretty much just a shot in the dark.
David, I try my best to make sure these questions are a shot in the dark. Or at least I tell ChatGPT to do that.
Of course
No,
you
these
do.
questions are not from ChatGPT, but I have them generate the numbers. And, I don't know. I don't even know if there's. Okay, there's that one question in here that was about what did Padme tell Anakin when he got back from rescuing the Chancellor? Other than that one, I don't think I've ever seen an easy question or a question in this book that is not an extreme deep cut. Sometimes I have no idea how to figure out where it comes from, like where the knowledge comes from? I'm like, if I'm spreading lies on the internet, I'm not the only one. I
Mhm.
was about to start naming news stations, and then I figured I didn't want to get political, so
So,
take me through your thought process, David. I want to know what goes on in that mind of yours. Maybe I don't. Whatever.
okay. So, my first thought was, they kind of give off llama vibes. I don't know why, but they kind of give off llama vibes. And I know llamas spit, but it's a frozen planet, so if they spit, it would probably freeze before it actually hits someone. But then that might be more damaging. So I realized I still am just taking a shot in the dark. Um, again, I have no actual like. I could see a tauntaun doing any of these things, but you know what? I will go spit just to see if that's what they do.
Spit is your final answer.
Yes.
All right. Well, David, you're correct.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's amazing how you shooting in the dark is more accurate than you shooting with your eyes open. Alrighty. You have gotten 3 out of 4 right. So can you
So
take
I've
me with
tied.
this? You've
So
tied
I've
me.
tied with yours.
hmm
Now, have
But
I gotten any of these right that you got wrong?
the only one you got right that I got wrong was the Tauntaun one. The one that you just answered.
Okay.
You were on the same track as me. I saw spit and I thought, nah. So I just clicked something else. I don't remember what I clicked. But yeah, so basically, if you get this last question right, you will have gotten more right than I did. Now that means that next time I'll have to actually take this seriously. But that is beside the point. All right, question number 5. What unique effect does Wampa saliva have on its victims? A, it acts as an anesthetic. B, it stuns them. C, it poisons them. Or D, it instantly kills them.
Um.
David, don't shoot skeet at night. Just because you're hitting all these shots in the dark doesn't mean that that's a good idea.
I never thought I'd be like. I never even thought about what Wampa saliva would do.
Well, David, have you ever thought about what your saliva does?
It helps break down food, but
Have you ever spit on someone? It might stun them or act as an anesthetic or poison them or instantly kill them. It could do any of those. You might be a Wampa. You're not white. Well, you are white. Your hair's not white, But I can drive you crazy enough for you to look like one.
So, okay. I don't remember if the Wampa actually bit Luke. I don't think he did. Just because of that. He could have been like, uh, he was unconscious for a while. The Wampa could have, like, tried and, like, you know, get a taste or something. I don't know. So because of that, I'm gonna say it doesn't
You know,
instantly kill.
actually, Wampas are known for like the reason that Luke was up in the ice is because Wampas like to knock out their prey and then put them up so that they can have them for later because they like eating fresh food, but they don't like having to like hunt and then eat right away. So they
Hmm.
usually capture and then they eat later, but it has to be
So
alive.
I don't know if you're giving me a hint or not.
Possibly.
Uh, I'm
Possibly
going to.
not.
I'm okay. I'm,
Would
I'm
you
not. I'm
trust
not.
me? I wouldn't trust me. I'll tell you that much.
Okay, but you see, you've tried to steer me wrong every question so far. So now you're trying to steer me right in the hopes that I'm not going to pick the right one. So I'm going to go with stunning their victims.
Which one's that? Which
Uh,
option's that?
it was either A or B. I don't remember which one.
Okay, so you're gonna be so your final answer is B, it stuns them.
Yes.
Okay. David, you know what? I thought that this would have been an easy one for you to get, and maybe it was, but you still didn't get it. So, you are wrong. It was not, it stuns them. The reason I needed clarification was because it stuns them and it acts like an anesthetic or somewhat close, but it actually acts like an anesthetic, which is why Luke was waking up. He stunned him with the slap. He was one. Will
Wait,
Smith
so it
slapped him.
acts like an anesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
It's like chloroform, he spits on him and it just knocks him out.
Interesting.
So David, I will say that you failed this week in your goal of beating me because you did not beat me. You tied me, which means that you lost, which means that I won and that I'm better than you for at least this week.
So, were
How do
you
you
actually
feel?
trying to give me a hint and then I said the wrong answer?
No, actually I slipped up. I wasn't thinking about the fact that would have been a hint.
Hmm.
And then I said it and I was like, I gotta scramble to fix this. So I figured I could try to throw you off the scent by the fact that you may or may not trust me, and I wouldn't trust me. So.
Hmm.
All right, David, you failed at that, but you know what? I hope, I hope you did not fail when it came to our main topic for this week, which was Rebels Season 3. Did you watch the entire
I, I,
season?
I, I did watch Rebels season 3, and as a matter of fact, so before we dive into this, I actually have a surprise for you.
I hate surprises. So
So I
right now, I,
had
I kind of hate
so
you.
so today, so we had we're going to have a very special guest. Okay.
We're going to have a guest. Who are you going to
Okay.
have
Now
on?
he couldn't actually make it for the recording, but he did pre-record a recap for us to listen to on the actual episode. Okay.
On the actual episode or the season?
I mean, like our podcast episode. He recapped the Rebel season
Okay.
3, and he pre-recorded it so we could listen to it on the show.
Okay, so either you got Rob to do something or you got AI. I'm wondering what kind of AI you got though.
Okay, so are you ready?
No, but go ahead.
Okay.
So I guess I had to hit watch stream.
Yeah, so you can actually hear this.
Let me tell you, folks, season 3, incredible season, maybe the best season, people are saying it. Ezra, great kid, but he makes some very bad deals, okay? He's listening to Darth Maul, total disaster, very low energy guy. Gets beaten by Obi-Wan in, what, 2 seconds? Pathetic. I would have won, believe me. Then we've got Kanan, he's blind, total mess, but he meets this giant thing called Bendu. Very big, very powerful, almost as powerful as me, but not quite. Bendu says, balance. But let me tell you, I know balance better than anybody. Thrawn now, that's a smart guy. Very smart. Almost as smart as me. He's always 10 steps ahead, like me in 2016. The rebels, total losers. They don't even see him coming. He crushes their base, absolutely destroys it, just like I destroyed Crooked Hillary. Sabine, by the way, she gets this thing called the Dark Saber. Tremendous weapon, very classy. She goes back to Mandalore, fights her family, tough family, very nasty people, but she wins. She's a winner, like me. In the finale, Thrawn practically wipes them all out. They barely escape. Very bad look for the rebels, folks. Total chaos. Meanwhile, Thrawn is calm, collected, very strong, very powerful. Season 3, really, truly one of the greatest seasons of Star Wars. A lot of people agree with me. Tremendous television, believe me.
At what the heck
So,
did
I
what?
know I know you're confused, and I know he used a lot of big words and stuff, but I did get him to record another one using your Gen Z slang, so you can actually understand.
So boom, Ezra's low-key acting sus, because he got Maul whispering dark side Riz in his ear.
God.
Kanan's still blind, but he's vibing with Bendu. This big storm Pokemon-looking dude who's like, balance, fam, balance. Thrawn pulls up, man's got giga brain energy, playing holo chess with the whole rebellion. Dude's like, I know your IP address every time the Ghost Crew moves. Straight menace. Ezra and Maul link again, because Maul wants to run Google Maps on Obi-Wan. They end up beefing in like the most anticlimactic one of own ever. Obi just claps him in one move, like bro didn't even get a second round. Maul basically dies saying, bruh, Luke's the chosen one, no cap. Sabine gets the dark saber, and she's like, I bet I'll become Mandalore's main character now. She has to face her toxic fam, and it's messy, but she proves she's that girl. By the finale, Thrawn finally catches these ops lacking on Adelon. Whole rebel base gets cooked, ships exploding, everyone scrambling. Bendu turns into a literal weather cheat code, starts drop kicking both sides with storm hacks, then dips. Hera, Kanan, Ezra, and Zeb barely escape, but the squad takes major L's. Season ends with rebels shook, Thrawn smirking like he's farming XP, and the Ghost Crew realizing it's only going to get sweatier from here.
David, I'm not gonna lie to you. I understood that less. I do not understand Gen Z slang whatsoever. That being said, props, props to getting Donald Trump on the show. I mean, I said earlier I didn't want to get political, but I mean, I guess you did. So let's go for it. Um, that is that is something else. I I don't even know what to say anymore. I think we could end the episode right now. He recapped everything. What else do we need to say? You know, that is probably one of the funniest things that we have done that you've had on this show. Like that's got to be that is hilarious. Um, we might just need him to take over the show from now on. I mean, he's rich. He has time, right? Or I guess he's a president, but what does the president really do? So,
That's fair.
alrighty, David.
Ugh.
That is hilarious. Um, was the contact that got you in touch with Trump here? Was it just Trump, or could he get you in contact with some other people?
I could probably get some other people.
Okay, okay. We might need to start having some celebrities hop on here to recap our episodes for us. But I don't really know how to move on from that. In all honesty, I don't know what a good segue is, but David, I'm gonna let you take care of that, and you just tell me what your thoughts were on Rebels season 3, and where do you
Well,
want to dive into the to it?
first off, a good segue is no segue at all because those things kind of look dumb, honestly. But um
I hate you even more
uh
now.
um
It just
although
keeps
I actually do
stacking.
I do kind of want to ride one though. They do they look like they would be fun, but still look dumb.
Cut to me and David riding down a mall walkway with segways, and the security guards are chasing us.
But anyway, what better place to start than the beginning? Because I feel like, again, like we did last season,
What about those shows or movies that start in the middle and then they take you back to the beginning and then they take you to the end, but then they jump back to the beginning again to kind of say one more thing and then they tell you about the end.
you're right. We'll start with Ghosts on Geonosis.
No, I didn't like that episode.
Okay, fine. Um, but no, honestly, the like first again, like with last season, like I don't think as much of this season is filler, but or as is as like completely unimportant as like a lot of the filler last season was.
I
But
think I think with Rebels, one thing to think about with Rebels is that unlike a show like um what am I thinking? Unlike a show like Bad Batch, it doesn't necessarily like its filler episodes aren't exactly filler. So like all last season they were trying to find the rebel base. All the little episodes, even if they were more filler, weren't necessarily um like they were still doing things to help them find a base, even if they came up empty handed at the end of it.
that's
Same
fair.
thing with like even same thing with Clone Wars. The only filler episodes that we really had were more so like the droid episodes, or like what's another one that I was thinking of something? Oh, like the Jar Jar episodes. Those were the only real filler episodes I feel like that we had when we were watching both of those shows. This one's similar. I'm not saying it doesn't have filler episodes. I'm saying it has less filler episodes. Um, David, is this a hot take to say that's well, actually, no, I can't say it's the best. It's definitely the best season that we've seen so far. But I think, based off of my memory, this season has some of the best episodes and best moments in
Yeah,
Rebels.
I could agree with it because I mean, I have a hard time separating in my mind seasons 3 and 4. Like, I was thinking of things that were like, oh, this is probably gonna happen soon. And they're like, oh wait, no, that is season 4. Okay,
Yeah, I
I
didn't
got the
realize
end of
certain things happened in season 4.
yeah. Um, and like obviously, like they tease a lot of stuff in season 4 in this
Hmm.
season. Like they already knew where they were going.
Yeah.
But as we kind of mentioned earlier, so this was Thrawn's first introduction into canon. Um, obviously we've gotten more with Thrawn that is canon, like the uh Thrawn Ascendancy novels that we're currently going through. Uh,
Hmm.
check out last week for first or for Chaos Rising. Check out next week for what is it, Greater Good,
No, no, no. Lesser Evil, and
Lesser
then there's
Evil.
Greater Good.
That's right. Yeah. Um,
Not next week, next time, bi-weekly.
next time, correct. Yeah. Sorry. But yeah. So episodes 1 and 2, it's a two-parter. Steps into shadow. So let's see, what do you have written here? So
No
Ezra
idea.
struggles with leadership and the temptation of the dark side after acquiring a Sith holocron. The Ghost crew faces Grand Admiral Thrawn, who emerges as a new, brilliant Imperial strategist, and Kanan meets the mysterious Bendu, who helps him
So
regain his connection to the Force.
I think with these first two episodes, one thing that we should touch on, and with these 3 points, are Ezra's struggle with the dark side, which is a focal point of these next 2 seasons. Thrawn as a character and him being introduced, and then Kanan meeting Bendu, which is a crucial part of this season. So starting off with Ezra's battling with the dark side. That's something that we see a lot with this. Now, there was some build up in the first 2 seasons, him having moments where, oh, darker aspirations, maybe, looking to the dark side. Obviously, Maul was, what was it that Trump said? Maul was whispering
Side Riz in his ears.
Dark Side Riz or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, but he was, he's over here talking to Ezra in season 2, and then that kind of boils over into what we get here in season 3. But Ezra's battling all this stuff, and by the end of the series, he has his arc, but he deals with a lot of those issues. I actually think too, and we'll get to this here in a little bit. That's also something Sabine goes through that we see in this season, and I think even throughout the whole entire series. And then it spills a little bit over into Ahsoka. I feel like in some aspects,
Mm.
but we'll get into that a little bit later as we dive into Sabine. But what are your comments on Ezra's dark side problems and trying to you know um battle his you know he's out for good. He's trying to save and protect his friends, but he kind of does it a similar way to like Anakin does it, right? Where it's like no matter what the cost, I'm gonna do this. And
Yeah, we
if he
start to see
keeps down
him,
that path,
like,
it
especially as
leads to like the dark side.
he gets trusted with more responsibility. And like he I think in this it was these first two episodes he ends up leading a mission. However, but between like at this point since season 2, we've seen he's become a lot more aggressive. He's become a lot
Hmm.
more like you said, willing to take risks,
Yeah.
and maybe not necessarily weighing the actual costs of some of these decisions.
Well, the whole entire mission that he's leading is a risk, right? He's going out of his way to get Hondo,
Mhm.
which is supposed to have information that, could be useful. But like he still trusts characters like Hondo. He still trusts in some capacity characters like Maul, which is a part of his growth. Some of it's the is him being naive because he's young and inexperienced. You can't necessarily say someone like Ezra is inexperienced, but there is a level of maturity that comes with all that stuff. Ezra and Sabine both deal with that in this season, having to deal with becoming more mature as they are still young. They're having to mature quickly. They're having to take on a ton of responsibility, and not only just take on a ton of responsibility, they're also having to um they're also having to battle, you know, those impulses. It's not even necessarily just a Star Wars thing where it comes with like the dark side, but like just the impulses to be rash and to be, like just jump into things
See,
headstrong. You got to
so
stop and think about things.
that is the thing about the light side versus the dark side.
Hmm.
So generally, when you're on the light side, like the Jedi, are generally more outward focused. They're more selfless. That's what the Jedi, like, that's what they strive to be. The dark side, the Sith, generally focus more on themselves. They're selfish. It's inward. That's
Yeah.
why a lot of these emotions like hate and anger and all this stuff are more associated with the Sith because it's more associated on, oh, this person wronged me.
Mm-hmm. Revenge.
Revenge. Yeah. So that's why I feel like that's where a lot of this comes, a lot like what you were talking about, a lot of that comes from is because the Sith, or the dark side, is related more to these selfish emotions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, the thing is, the Force is related to emotion in general,
Yeah.
and like you said, selfish to more outwardly focused ones. But yeah, so that's kind of an interesting thing, and like we'll talk more about Ezra's his battles with the dark side as we get through this, and probably even next time in season 4 when it comes into more play. Now you've already kind of touched on Thrawn a little bit, um, with him being introduced in this season. This is when he gets introduced, dude. So many things I love about Thrawn, and this is so good. Thrawn is so many steps ahead. It's crazy watching it.
So,
You're constantly trying to be like, how do the rebels win? At the end of the
mhm,
season, the only reason they win is because of the supernatural, the Force. But because of the supernatural is why they win. Um, and it's not because they outsmart Thrawn, because you really can't outsmart Thrawn. We've talked about this before. The only reason he loses in the Thrawn original trilogy is because Rook betrays him. That's the only reason. Thrawn had the perfect plan. He had all of his X's and O's countered or marked out. But if someone else screws up his plan, then that's where the fault lies, not on his plan itself. And that's what we see constantly throughout this. He is constantly one step ahead. And even when the rebels win, they play it into his hand.
mhm. And that is true. I mean, like, okay, Thrawn, the only reason that he, like you said, didn't win is because of the supernatural, because he, and frankly, it's because he didn't know that Bendu even existed.
Yeah, yeah. He would have planned otherwise.
Yeah, if he knew that the Bendu was a thing, he wouldn't have, he wouldn't have approached the situation that way.
Yeah, he would have had a completely different thought process for it. Another thing that I love on what they did with this, um, one, who's it? It's Mavs, or which Mickelson brother is it that does this?
Um, Lars.
Lars. Okay, he does a great job with this. Like Thrawn is so even toned, and like in his even tone, he is so chilling with it.
Mm,
And then I absolutely love the uh the organ playing, the organ music that they have for his theme music. It adds an extra bit of chilliness to it. I likened it a little bit to Pirates of the Caribbean with Davy Jones. Has a little
mhm.
bit of an organ tone to his theme music, and I really feel like that like minor keys and stuff like that. Really, like you look at Thrawn, and you're like, oh yeah, this is a bad dude.
So, especially after having read the actual source material for Thrawn,
Hmm.
I do think they did a good job with adapting Thrawn. I I mean, okay, I've heard people criticize the adaptation of Thrawn in Rebels, and sure, there might be some nitpicky things you can do, but you could say, but for the most part, I do think that it was a good adaptation.
I think
And
so far what we've seen has been amazing. To be
and a
nitpicky,
and I do
go ahead.
think it was also fairly very respectful to the source material as well.
Yeah, yeah. To be nitpicky, and this is more of a lack of knowledge on my part and not necessarily an issue with the way the character is made. I don't quite understand why Thrawn is so loyal to the Empire or to the Emperor. That I do not understand. I'm not sure if us reading through the rest of the Ascendancy novels, which these are supposed to be canon, correct?
Yes.
So this Thrawn is supposed to be the same Thrawn, or Rebels Thrawn is supposed to be the same Thrawn that we are reading in the original in these Ascendancy books.
Yes. Which honestly I can see it now after having rewatched Rebels. I can see it more
Mm-hmm.
than for like okay, just when he was like fighting hand to hand with the security droids.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we are like the Thrawn Ascendancy novels established that even though they were written after, they established that yeah, Thrawn is actually well trained in hand to hand combat.
I loved how they did that in this. They showed him battling the droids, and then not more than a couple episodes later, he fights Agent Callus hand to hand
Yeah.
combat and wins. And it's like we've seen Callus fight. Callus is a good fighter, but Thrawn is better.
Mhm. But it's also okay. Have you ever seen the RDJ Sherlock Holmes movies?
Mm-hmm.
The first one specifically.
Mm-hmm.
It's got that in the first one, it's got that one scene where he's in the bar fight, and it's like him like in his head monologuing of what he's gonna do. Like oh, like if I hit him here, I'll incapacitate him. Hit him here, I win the fight. Whatever. That
Yeah.
that is the way I picture Thrawn's brain working when he's fighting. Is
Yeah.
he's playing chess in his brain while he's fighting. He's analyzing the fight, and oh, he dropped his guard there. You know, that's my whatever. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the way I picture Thrawn when he's
I
fighting hand
would
to hand.
love, I would have loved, and this is we talked about this last time about Thrawn possibly not really being the main character in his own books. Um, but in the Thrawn Ascendancy book, one we listened to last time, I believe, um, we came across Thrawn in a flashback fighting with uh Admiral, what was her name? What was his admiral? You had Lauren or something like that, or is that one of the other ones?
Alani, wasn't it?
Alani, Admiral Alani, and they have a flashback where they do a fighting style because he's trying to prove to her that art can prove or can show what the mind of a people basically, and studying art is crucial for basically the art of war and understanding it. And we see it from her side, and it's always the, oh, I got him. Wait, he didn't do the same thing again. But I would have loved to see it from his side of things. Like you said, playing out that chess match in his head. But we don't get to see that, and hopefully at some point we will. But yeah, Thrawn is so many steps ahead. It is crazy to watch him. It's like you really do have to have a miracle to beat him, and they get that twice in this season and in the next season because we kind of already know where this is heading. Um, But we'll get to that later. David, tell me what you know about Bindu.
Um, well, he is the Bendu. He's the one in the middle.
What's a Bindu?
Exactly.
What honestly do we know about this character? I didn't do that much research ahead of
We
time.
well, we know he's the Bendu. That's like that is like really all we learn about this character from the show is that he
Yeah,
is the
do we
Bendu and he's the one in the
is
middle.
there anything else going on with the character like that we know outside of this show?
Well, let me look him up on Wikipedia. It's probably going to be a mistake because there's probably going to be a crap ton of stuff. But
Probably.
okay, homeworld, Adelon. Okay, hang on. So Bendu was a male force-sensitive entity who resided on the remote planet of Adelon and claimed to represent the center of the Force between the light side and the dark side. Bendu encountered Jedi Knight Kanan Jarrus in 2 BBY. I didn't realize that Rebels took place or we were already that close to A New Hope.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I guess that does make sense because we had the whole thing later on where they save or where they where they save Mon Mothma, which was like right after
Yeah,
Andor.
that's true.
So I guess that does make sense.
To save you some reading, glancing through, it looks like pretty much everything you're gonna read in that article is going to be Rebels season 3.
Yeah, but I
Right.
don't even
So
know. I don't like. We really don't know anything about like. We don't even know if Bindu was like an actual like physical alien or if he was some more similar like the Mortis gods. We don't
yeah, a little
actually
more
know.
spiritual. Obviously Thrawn shot him out of the sky, but when he went to shoot him dead, mm, he wasn't there. So did he become a Force ghost? Who
Hmm.
knows? We don't know
Which,
what happened to Bendu.
yeah, which I don't think we need to dwell on every single episode here, but
I was about to say
let's
that.
yeah. So but episode 3 we do kind of need to touch on a little bit, just the holocrons of fate. It's episode 3. Basically the premise of this is Maul um basically tricks Ezra once again. Oh no, not to that point yet. Sorry, I'm thinking of the later episode. But Maul
I think
uh
you're right.
um this is where he actually basically kidnaps the Ghost Crew, and
Yeah.
Kanan and Ezra um have to save them by giving Maul the Sith holocron and the Jedi holocron actually. And
Yeah.
then Ezra and Thrawn, or Ezra and Maul, sorry, Ezra and Maul combine them in a ritual to basically it'll answer any question that you have. And of course, Maul is looking for one Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Ezra is looking for a way to defeat the Sith. Unbeknownst to both of them, their answers lie in the same place.
I have a comment on that, but we need to get to later episodes before we dive into that.
Hmm. Yeah. So, let's see here. The Antilles extraction, we don't really need to dive too much into that. That's basically just like
Wedge
that's what you're
Antilles is
that's what you were talking about earlier. That's where Wedge Antilles introduced.
yeah,
Hera's
he's
Heroes.
an Imperial pilot that
Yeah,
defects, and that's where we get Wedge.
yeah. Episode 5, Hera's Heroes. Only really interesting thing I have to say about this episode is I this is really where it actually introduces Thrawn.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, I know it introduces it in that two-parter, but this is where we actually get to see more of Thrawn's who Thrawn is, like analyzing
Yeah.
the art and actually being able to get to the bottom of things almost instantly. Like he pretty much immediately knows Hera is Hera.
Hmm. They're playing a
Um,
little bit of a game, and then it just he's playing along, but he knows the whole time.
yeah. Then episode 6 it is a cool episode, but basically the premise of it is they're going up to this planet where there's a crashed separatist cruiser, and they're to gather supplies and they have to fight battle droids, and then they end up convincing the what are those things called?
Um,
Strategy droid,
Something
commander
like that.
droid,
Yeah.
whatever they are. They end up convincing him to help them fight the Empire because of course the Empire shows up.
Yeah.
Imperial Super Commandos. What was this one?
As the one where they return back to Concord Dawn, with
That's right.
Rao and end up coming in contact with what's his name? Um, Sabine fights him later.
Oh,
The
yeah,
Mandalorian guy.
yeah.
What's his name? I can't remember. Finn Rao is the one that's on their side kind of now, and what's his name? Anyways, basically it's just another Mandalorian-esque episode. Not a whole lot to it, to be
Mm,
honest. Same for the next episode. Iron Squadron. The Rebels assist a young hotshot pilot and his crew. Um, but basically the only significant part of the episode really is the fact that the young hotshot is a nephew of the general, um, whatever his name is. But anyways, they end up rescuing them all,
mm.
and that's all that is.
And honestly, I would even say episode 9 here is a little bit also just kind of a more of a filler episode. Not really. We get
Yeah,
more
yeah.
Hondo. I mean, everyone
They
loves
get some.
Hondo,
They get.
but
They get some. They get some material, and that's about it.
yeah. Although I will say I do really like Hondo, but I
Mhm.
find him more annoying in this show than he was in Clone Wars.
I like him better in Clone Wars
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely. Definitely. Now, episode 10 is a little more important because this is where we find out that um or sorry, no, this isn't it. Inside Man, that isn't it. But
We really
this
get
is
to
where
see Thrawn in this.
yes, this is where basically Thrawn's investigating the Imperial factory on Lothal, and Kanan and Ezra go in and infiltrate the Imperial factory, try to sabotage it, and almost get caught several times throughout the episode because of
Yes.
Thrawn. And also, this is okay. I know you mentioned when last week or last time when we were talking about Thrawn, how like in canon he's not as like ruthless as he is in some of the some parts of the Thrawn trilogy, like the Heir to the Empire trilogy. But
Mhm.
this was very reminiscent of that scene in on the bridge in Heir to the Empire, because we get
Mhm.
the like he basically makes this technician test a speeder bike and get it up to full speed, knowing it's going to explode because they've had so many malfunctions. And he's like, no, you're going to test it personally and get it to full
Yeah.
speed. And it's very reminiscent of that one scene in Heir to the Empire where he has the guy killed on the bridge. Like
Yeah.
so, Thrawn like that's what stood out to me most in this episode. Um,
Yes. The ruthlessness of Thrawn is shown. I feel like that was probably what they were going for, even though those books probably aren't canon. That was the source material at the time, and that was what they were going off of for the character. So I get the parallels, and that's what they were looking at
like
and alluding to.
he's Thrawn is cool, calm, and collected all pretty much all the time, and does is very like gentleman esque, but at the same time is
he
capable of
says
just
he says it a lot in the series, or at least once or twice in the series. He says, "I value results." If he doesn't get those results, people are going to suffer consequences.
mhm, exact precisely. So episode 11, Visions and Voices. Um, this is
Ezra engages in a ritual to sever
yeah
his ties with Maul.
yeah. So this Maul comes back. Basically haunt. This I think was a Halloween episode. I don't see when did this episode actually come out. I want to say this was probably a Halloween episode, just given the vibes. Um,
We go to Dathomir. We deal with the Night Sisters. There's a ritual involved. all Halloween-esque,
Not actually.
I
It's
think.
came out December 10th, but still, it was very Halloween-esque. Like like it starts off like storming and whatever, and Ezra keeps seeing Maul everywhere, and
Yeah.
then you get all the ghosts of the Night Sisters at the end. But the two big things from this episode are one, um, Maul and Ezra both pretty much figure out, it's what the answers to what they wanted from the holocrons was on Tatooine,
Hmm.
and also the rebels find the dark saber because Maul had it.
Hmm. Yep.
And then episodes
Um.
12 and 13. This is kind of the mid-series finale, or mid-series or mid-season finale or whatever. Not really a whole lot to say about it. I mean, they go back to Geonosis, tease the
They
Death
find
Star.
out. They find out that basically there's only one left because they got wiped out, and there's an egg.
And Saw Gerrera is here.
Saw Gerrera is also introduced. Now, was Saw Gerrera originally introduced in the Clone Wars?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure of that. So this
Yeah.
is probably the second time we see Saw Gerrera, unless Rogue One had already come out at this point.
This was before Rogue One, I want to say.
Okay, okay. But yeah, not a whole lot to say about that. It is what it is. We get to see that there are different types of rebels. Something we get to see a lot in Andor. But there are a lot of
Mm,
different rebels. They go about things in a lot of different ways, but they all are technically fighting for the same thing.
mm. And we get episode 14, Warhead.
That's
Um,
where Zeb has the command and brings the droid back. Again, not a very thrilling episode. Just an episode of sorts.
yeah.
More of a filler episode.
Yeah, it was. I mean, basically, it was a spy droid, and then all bad hijinks or whatever. And
Now, David,
but it helps Thrawn narrow down his search for the Rebel base.
yes, that's about the most important thing that comes out of the episode.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to kind of lump together episode 15 and 16 because one is Trials of the Dark Saber and the other one is Legacy of Mandalore. This is really starting to get into Sabine's story. Um, so obviously she got the dark saber, so now Kanan is trying to train her with the dark saber, which is an uphill battle because Sabine is a very capable warrior and does not really feel like she needs any training. And then after alongside that, the rebels' idea is for her to take it and basically take claim of Mandalore, because the Mandalorians view whoever has the dark saber as as the ruler, basically. Um, at least for Clan Ren. But anyways, that's what their goal is, and but she's struggling with it, and then all yada yada yada. By the end of it, she is able to at least have some amount of training with it. And then episode 16 is about Legacy of Mandalore. Is Sabine goes back home and confronts her family and tries to you know reconcile with all of that, and she also confronts. Did we ever Gar Saxton? Is that his name?
Yes, that's the name.
She confronts him, bests him in a fight, doesn't end up killing him, but her mother does
Hmm.
when he is about to attack her.
Yeah. So episode 17 is what I was thinking about earlier with episode 10,
Oh,
Inside Man.
also
But
within episode 15 and 16, Sabine ends up staying with her family, and we don't
yeah,
see her until the end of the season.
yes. So episode 17 is what I was mistaking episode 10, Inside Man, for. But episode 17 is titled Through Imperial Eyes. So this episode, we find out that the Fulcrum agents that the rebels have been working with for all of season 3 has been none other than Agent Callus.
We found out before this.
Well, I guess this is when
They go to extract
um
him.
yeah. When
This
did
is
we find out
honestly
of
a
this
really
for? Yeah,
that's
but
like in
anyway, yeah.
season 2.
Was it back in season 2? I don't remember.
I'm
But
pretty sure.
yeah. Um,
This
yeah,
episode is really good because it maybe we don't find out in season 2. I feel like it's at one point in maybe it's early season 3. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Um,
no, sorry, it is episode 10 in Inside Man that we do actually find out because remember
oh,
Agent Callus
yeah.
is in the factory and he's like, I'm Fulcrum. I'm gonna get you out of here to Kanan and Ezra. That's right.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I was
But
thinking that, but
anyways,
this is where they quickly get him out. That's right.
this is where they try to get him out because they believe that they're close to narrowing it down, which Thrawn is close to narrowing it down. And it's such a great episode because Callus is playing his own little game over here, trying to lead them astray and give them another person to look at when it comes to Fulcrum. And a take the bait, quote unquote. But Thrawn wins out because they play because Callus plays into his hand with what was he was expecting. And it's such a great episode, a great mind thrilling episode, really gets you thinking, as far as like this show goes. Um, all in all, well done with that one, and she really showing Thrawn's intellect.
Mm. This is also where we get to see Thrawn actually dueling with those droids too, just
Yes.
as a side note. But let's see, what was episode? Episode 18 was
Secret
that the
cargo.
episode Secret Carrier. That's the episode that corresponds with that one episode of Andor where they get Mon Mothma out because it starts out they're going through the news and the holonet. They see Mon Mothma's speech, and then come to find out that the rebel ship that they're helping is actually carrying Mon Mothma.
Mm-hmm.
And this would pretty much lead right after um Andor got Mon Mothma off Coruscant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe that episode of Andor kind of takes place on both ends of the this episode. With him
Yeah,
getting her off, and then it might be the next episode, but also having her after the fact, having gotten here. Um,
yeah.
Next up, episode 19, Double Agent Droid. Um, Chopper gets hacked and attempts to he gets hacked by the Imperials. They have control of him, and they attempt to get rebel base coordinates through Chopper, and that's the episode. Um, Not a bad
Also,
one, not a great one. Filler episode.
so that reminds me of one of my favorite, like one of like one of the quotes from this season that like just like got me with laughing. So it was I think it was the last episode of Hondo.
Mm-hmm.
It was the one where they had the heist or whatever, and they're trying to get like all the stuff off the ship and whatever. So and with the they accidentally wake up the security droids on the ship,
Yeah.
and so they have to escape. So they're held up in the hangar, having a firefight with these droids, and it's Ezra, Zeb, and Chopper are still in the hangar, and then Chopper uh says whatever, and then like rockets off towards the ghost, and Ezra's like, "What do you mean, every man for himself? You're a droid!" And that just like, I don't know why that I found so funny, but that was
That
hilarious.
that of all quotes found that you found hilarious. That is
I don't
that
know
is
why.
interesting. David, let's skip over episode 20 because I think episode 20, Twin Sons, is probably something that we will want to dwell on for a little bit longer. And I feel like we can pretty quickly sum up episode 21 and 22.
I mean, yeah, 21-22 season finale. Ron finds the base. They barely escape with their life. We kind of already touched on this.
Yeah. The only reason that Thrawn ended up losing was because of the fact that the Bendu kind of he intervened, but he didn't necessarily intervene on Kanan's behalf. He just more so wanted everyone gone because he even ended up
Yeah,
attacking Kanan a little bit. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, they end up escaping. Sabine ends up coming back and helping with some of her Mandalorian friends, and that is what it is. They lose a lot in this, but it's you know, the base is deserted. They have to leave. They have to get out of there, but they still end up together
hmm
as the
So
bond.
also one important thing too is they were planning before Thrawn attacked. They were planning the liberation of Lothal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Yes, an
also
important
another
note.
yeah.
Keep that in mind as
Um
we go into season 4.
yeah. So episode 20, Twin Suns.
The episode we have all been waiting for.
And
The
it's
one of the best.
Suns SUN, not SON, so it's not like, it's not
Yeah,
Twin Suns. It's Twin Suns.
no one has 2 sons. Um,
So,
so basically, back to Ezra and Maul having their connection. Um, Ezra knows that Maul is headed to Tatooine to confront and kill Kenobi. He goes to Tatooine to warn Kenobi and then also see if they can get Obi-Wan to come to Rebel Cause.
mhm. And
Which I do find it interesting. Harris says at one point, she says, if Master Kenobi was still alive, because they don't know that he's still alive, they're like, Master Kenobi was still alive, why would he be on some random backwater desert planet instead of helping the rebellion? Like, what on earth would he be doing? Someone of his caliber, why wouldn't he be helping the rebellion? The reason is because he had a greater purpose. He had a reason for it, and it's not something that anyone else would have understood because it's not something else anyone could know.
I mean the only person who knows would have been Bail Organa.
Hmm And I
And
mean,
he
who
and
was it?
that
And he told
Hera
Rex that.
well Hera
Go
makes a comment like, or maybe it is Rex, but like you know, Bale said, or Senator Organa said that
ahead.
Obi-Wan Kenobi was killed years ago.
Yeah, yeah. Rex made that comment. He said, no one would want General Kenobi to be alive more than I would, but Bail Organa himself told me that he had died. He had been killed. So,
Yeah,
obviously he wanted to spread the mystery that Kenobi had died. Now, I think the only reason that like people like Vader and the Emperor had any hunt for Kenobi was because they knew that he hadn't died. So that even if the rumor got spread, they would have known the truth. Um, so there's a lot of parts to this episode that aren't that important, but the overall concept of this episode is really, really important, really, really good. I would like to jump to Ezra and Kenobi talking.
mm.
I think that's where we get a lot of important things and important, not necessarily even details, but important like uh, Easter eggs, maybe for different things. And one thing I think you were hitting at earlier. So I love Ben's explanation, which they call him Obi-Wan in this. He doesn't go by Ben, but I think he goes by Obi-Wan because Ezra calls him that, and that's what he knows him by.
Well, also like
Um,
both Ezra and Maul already knew who he was, so he didn't have any reason
yeah,
to use a pseudonym
yeah.
or use a
So,
fake name.
but Ezra says that obviously Maul is coming here, and that per the holocrons, that Obi-Wan is the key to defeating the Sith. Now, I love this so much because Ben or Kenobi tells Ezra, he says that the reason that the holocron told Ezra that he was the key to beating the Sith was because Maul was uh placing that in Ezra's mind because what Maul was trying to find. But the holocrons don't lie because Ben Kenobi is the key to beating the Sith because without Kenobi, Luke never
Well,
becomes a Jedi
also,
and never goes and beats Vader later on or gets Vader to be redeemed, thus beating the Sith.
also, I feel like Ezra was kind of adding on the fact that Obi-Wan was what the holocron said.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like what the holocron was actually trying to tell Ezra was that the secret to defeating the Sith was on Tatooine, not that it was necessarily Obi-Wan Kenobi. And he
Hmm.
figured out Maul was looking for Obi-Wan Kenobi, who was on Tatooine, and figured, oh, he must be the key to this secret or the key to defeating the Sith.
That's fair.
Because
I'm okay with that interpretation.
mm,
Um, Granted, I would want to go with the explanation that you know, obviously you can't have Jedi Luke without Kenobi. But you're right. The key to beating the Sith was on Tatooine. Kenobi was watching over that key. Um, but but yes, that is also a
I mean,
very good way
either
of
way,
interpreting it.
either way you look at it, ultimately you get to Luke being the
Yes,
end all be all key to defeating the Sith.
which who knows? We might need to have another discussion about the chosen one.
Yeah. Which
Prophecies.
that's
So
also
maybe
another thing too. Which let's get to the fight, and then we can get to the
the chosen one.
chosen one. Yeah. So I don't feel like I feel like Sam Witwer has the best explanation on this fight. I know we've talked about this before, but in several interviews I've heard him talking about this fight, and basically it's not as much a duel with lightsabers; it's a duel with words and with
Actions.
actions. Yeah, like obviously it starts off them confronting each other with words, and then Obi-Wan, starts out with the you know General Kenobi stance, arm extended, like lightsaber back here, and then comes back up to the Qui-Gon stance.
Well, he comes first to the old Ben
Oh
stance,
right,
lightsaber
old
in the
Ben,
front,
then up to the Qui-Gon,
which he goes very
and
quickly through that. He goes from young Kenobi to the Ben Kenobi, and then right up to Qui Gon. But
mm,
it's interesting too with this watching Maul and
mm,
watching his not necessarily all his reactions to it, but his different stances. Now he doesn't go through stances like that, but like you know, he obviously reverts a little bit, and you can see he kind of reverts back to his Phantom Menace stance as well in some aspects, and how he gets down and stuff like that. Because what you were getting at was the thing with Kenobi going to the Qui Gon stance was getting Maul to think he could do the same thing to him that he did to Qui Gon.
he queued them all up to make the same move, which
Hmm.
allowed Obi-Wan to break through it really easily because he knew what to expect,
Hmm. I mean,
and that's why it's
the fight is literally. I think he hits one side, he hits the other side, and then he slashes down. That's literally the whole
yeah,
fight, like two or three slices or hits.
yeah. Which, yes, it's very fast, but once you actually, if you haven't heard Sam Witwer explaining this duel, go look it up.
Hmm.
Honestly, Sam Witwer has like a lot of his explanations about um any of the duels in Star Wars that I've heard him talk about. He does really well. Even
Oh yeah.
uh I've heard I think both him and Dave Filoni talking about Duel of the Fates, and they both sum it up very well. And this duel, especially, Sam Witwer explains very well.
This fight is honestly so good because of how short it is.
Mm,
It when I first learned, I hadn't seen Rebels yet, but when I first learned that this was how Maul died, I was extremely disappointed. And then I watched it within the context of the show, and then I listened to Sam Witwer's explanation of it. and I
Mhm.
absolutely fell in love with this fight. This fight is probably one of the top duels, meaning wise, in Star Wars. It
Yeah,
it
it is
means a
probably
lot,
one of the most important duels because okay,
or subtext, I guess. But yes, yes.
you think about the importance of this duel. Maul. Okay, so if Maul had killed Obi-Wan in this duel, obviously he would have still been around. He would have still been tempting Ezra. That whole situation could have been disastrous. You, of course, also have the possibility that he could have found Luke, or if he didn't find Luke, the Empire would have found him inevitably.
Yeah,
He would have either the Empire either would have found him, or he would have joined the Academy, and then Vader would have found him.
yeah.
Because if you remember, Luke was originally intending to join the Academy.
Hmm.
Or you could just have it where he finds the droid, or they buy the droids. R2D2 goes off into the wilderness, and then Luke goes looking for him and gets killed by the Sand People. Like
Ton of
there's
different outcomes that would have been bad.
and none of them are good.
Hmm. All bad, no good.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, yeah, it's such a cool fight. There's so much subtext to it. It does a great job. Um, and then finally, David, my question to you, or not necessarily a question, my challenge to you. Explain to me why Kenobi is not the rightful ruler of the Darksaber or owner of the Darksaber. And
Well,
thus
actually,
the last one to rightfully own the Darksaber.
that means that Kenobi, and then Vader,
Nope.
and
Nope.
then
Nope. Vader does not kill Kenobi. So therefore, like Kenobi in the sense of, I don't want to sound like like that might sound a little sacrilege, but like he gave up the ghost before Vader struck him down. Like, you can say what you want, but you're not gonna convince me. Kenobi Kenobi passed away. He did not, like, he willingly went. He didn't, like, there's no scorch marks or anything on Vader on the tunic. I'm actually pretty sure that from what I've heard, there's it might be in the book, the novelization of A New Hope, but where that brief second when they're talking, it's actually just a force projection of Kenobi, which is why when he goes through, he doesn't. There's nothing on the rogues, is because the he had already gone. But Kenobi's the last person to have won the Darksaber in combat. So Luke is not even the rightful ruler or rightful owner of the Darksaber. I rest my
well,
case, and you can argue with me all
Luke.
you want, but
Also Luke didn't kill Anakin either. So
he didn't. Yeah. So it's a
so
bunch of
like
technicalities.
it's yeah. I guess technically it would be Obi-Wan by
Hmm.
that logic. Hmm.
Which means at that point, I would assume that you can't really say a whole lot where it's at now. Where it's is it still with Din Djarin currently in the
No, it got
newest?
destroyed. It got destroyed in Mandalorian season 3.
I watched it like once vaguely, so we'll have to get to that later. Okay, so it got destroyed. So it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. All right. Chosen one, David. Who really is the chosen one?
Yes.
That's a good answer. Like on Family Feud. Good answer. Good answer.
Honestly, I think at different points throughout the saga, both Luke and both Luke and Anakin take on that role.
Could Anakin have defeated the Sith if it wasn't for Luke?
Why not?
Could Luke have defeated the Sith if it wasn't for Anakin?
No, because Palpatine would have killed him. Pal- Palpatine was toying with him for most of that fight.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you know, I mean, Palpatine was powerful enough that if he wanted to, and one electric bolt probably could have completely fried Luke.
And okay, if Palpatine knew that Vader was about to betray him, if he wasn't so focused on Luke and actually sensed Vader's betrayal, Palpatine could have soloed both of them.
Oh yeah, without even having to draw a blade.
Yeah.
Easily could have killed both of them. I don't care that they both had. Actually, I don't know what Palpatine's midichlorian count is, but I know that both of them had really high midichlorian counts. That is potential. That is not power. You know, I love the analogy that midichlorians are similar to like athletes, like if you're really gifted, that's the same as like, having a really high midichlorian count. But even the top athletes in the world have to work at it because if you're only really gifted, someone else is going to outwork you and someone's going to end up being better than you because that's the name of the game is working at it. And the
Mm.
Jedi had to work to gain that
Well,
potential. Your ceiling's here, but you have to get there. You can't. You're not just automatically
and
there.
honestly, applying an actual kind of real world thing to that too, just because someone has a high potential doesn't mean they will ever reach it. Because
Yeah.
one interesting thing about people is generally if you have high potential, you might be naturally really good at something, but there will inevitably come a point where if you don't work at it, you'll become complacent and you will inevitably crash and burn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Long and short of what we're saying is basically just because Anakin is, said to be the chosen one, and I think that still would be my answer if you ask me who the chosen one is, with the caveat that he could only do it if Luke was there as well. Kind of putting Luke into that chosen one realm as well, which is why there's the debate over it. Uh, but the reason is because despite the fact that they can both be argued to be the chosen one, Palpatine is still more powerful than both of them combined
Mhm.
at this point in time. Maybe not long term, maybe not Legends Luke, but at this point in time, he is.
Yeah, yeah. Now you have full potential Anakin or full potential Luke. Honestly, that either one of them would wipe the floor with Palpatine, but maybe not wipe the floor, but
So that's some
the
strong words.
either one of them could beat Palpatine. It probably would still be a very difficult fight, but either one of them could like full potential. I feel like either
It's
one of
hard
them
for me to
could,
see.
but
It's hard for me to see someone who could wipe the floor with Palpatine, but I don't know. I mean, you got to think about it. Like full potential Anakin as the chosen one, you would think
okay,
that he could wipe the floor with anyone, right?
okay. I mean, okay. You see that one, like that one comic where Vader goes
Mm-hmm.
into like the Force world or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
like actually he's like his full potential or whatever, and is basically just wiping the floor with all the Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it, but
Mm-hmm.
that still would probably be a very difficult fight.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd be interested to see what that would be. I wouldn't be interested in see what someone's take on that would be, like, a director or writer, but I'd be interested to see how that would like logistically actually play out, you know. Um maybe one day we'll get to the point where AI is probably is already there and I just don't deal with AI enough. But maybe we'll get to the point where you can basically create your own little Star War I think I'm gonna have a stroke. Star Wars world, where you can basically whatever the most likely scenario to happen plays out, and you can put in these different conditions. Um, but
Mhm.
that'd be kind of cool to find out what actually supposedly would happen in that scenario. David, hi. How are you? I'm fine. Why do you ask? I don't know. Anyways,
Well,
any more
Wesley, I feel
thoughts
like we're
on this?
not really. I was about to say, I feel like we're about done. It's getting
Let me
late.
check
I have to
check my
work
notes.
tomorrow. So,
Yeah, I know. Why did we do this? I haven't eaten much today. I'm hungry. So I'm good with going. I think we've gotten everything. I don't have that many notes, but I'm pretty sure that I've touched on all of them. Um, so with that, final thoughts.
Rebel Season
Any
3,
thoughts?
best so far. Go watch it and come back in 2 weeks for us to talk about Thrawn Ascendancy, Lesser Evil.
If you do not want to watch all of Rebels or all of Rebels season 3, I would highly recommend watching Rebels season 3 episode 20, Twin Sons. There are some episodes in season 4 that I know are coming up that are really good, but I don't think that you're going to appreciate them as standalone episodes. Twin Sons, I think you can get past all the mumbo jumbo of Rebels itself. If you watch it by itself, you get to see that fight between Maul and Kenobi. It is really good. There's so much to it. Um, I would watch that single episode if nothing else from any of this. If you've seen it before, go watch it again. It's still really good. That being said, thank you for sticking all the way down to the end of this episode. If you did, why are you not subscribed to our channel? And if you are, why haven't you liked the video? Come on, what are you doing? That being said, comment down below. What did you think of this episode? Tell us what you liked, what you didn't. Please be sure to not cheat during the quiz section and comment down below what your answers were, or at least what your record was. Did you beat David? Did you beat me? We tied. I beat David. So, anyways, with that, join us next time on X Wing Radio, and David will have a fun time with that episode as well. We'll be talking about Thrawn, Ascendancy, Lesser Evil. Tune in, and we hope you enjoyed and will enjoy. I don't know. I'm rambling on now.
Now this is podcasting.
Bye.